young people ages 18 to 25 are not voting. I'll be joined by two young people who will inspire our youth to vote. Also in this program, Camella Fairweather will be chatting with a young academic achiever. I'm Sam Taitt. My guests are Cheryl Ford and Dietric Wing-Paul. Welcome to Brooklyn 45.
Thank you, Mr. Taitt. It is an honor to be here.
Okay, I'm going to break the rule, Cheryl. Usually I always say ladies first, but I'm going to begin with Dietric, and I'm going to come back to you with the same question. Dietric,
Okay.
tell us about voting, your voting as an 18-year-old.
Well, when I was 18 years old, that was about, I would say about 6 years ago. But nonetheless, I remember that that's one of the things that I anticipated, when I was around 17, turning to 18. I understood the importance of voting, right? And expressing your voice, right? To vote particular elected officials to make a difference in the community.
Okay, Cheryl, your story, did it begin at 18 as well or after?
Much after my children. Once I had my children and my daughter, she registered to vote, but my son, he was hesitant. And I would ask him as far as why, and he would say, what will I get out of voting? So it was that question of, what am I getting from voting? And where my daughter, she couldn't wait to go out and cast. She just couldn't wait to go out and do it. And ever since she's been voting, she's been rallying up friends and everyone that she can think of to go out. But I just find that my son, when he was, but he's 27 now. But when he was 18, 19, voting was not on his, it was not on his table at all. Yeah.
Now that he is older, where is he as far as voting is concerned?
Oh, he is, he has a group of friends that he's constantly asking, when he's going to vote, he's come along. So he's rallying up, some younger people to go and vote. And he's also telling the importance of it. He really will tell them why you're voting, the importance of that vote and the history behind the vote. So he, really getting the youths revved up about going out to vote.
Dietric, you said you anticipated voting. You understood the importance of voting, especially from the perspective of making your voice known politically, making your voice known, and that you have worked with elected officials. So tell us about some of the work that you have done to let people know that voting is important.
Absolutely. Well, I had my firsthand experience in local government by serving as a office manager for Councilmember Fairweather, and just to see, that particular experience of how the significance of council members, right, in terms of how much they've made an influence in the city's budget and how that money and resources is allocated, not only in a grander scale, but in reality amongst each district or the community. So from that very experience from serving in the city of the offices of Councilmember Fairweather, I saw, the importance of how an elected official can advocate for resources and funds which can be distributed to the community.
Cheryl Ford, parent, what's been your message to other parents as far as the importance of voting?
My message to parents on the importance of voting is education. Educate the children as the importance of what is voting. Much is like, what is voting? People of our children have no idea on what is voting. Who are we voting for? When are the elections? Who? You know, they are confused. They don't understand. This is something that I've been advocating for, especially to have it in the schools where our children, these resources are, you know, that are brought to our children. So they have these mock elections. So they know the history. What is a vote? You know, so I always tell their parents, and you don't have a voice. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. What can you say if you don't exercise that right to vote? And it I also, you know, I speak to parents and I say, take your children to Washington, you know, take them to Albany, you know, get them, you know, we, especially when we're speaking of children of color, we have to take them to these places, let them see, you know, where, so they can connect. You know, everything seems to be different with our youths. You know, once they're here, but they're not bridging everything together. And so they'll see the vote plus the resource, it comes together. And then we're able to, you know, advocate for where we want things. If you do not have that voice, you can't say what schools, what teachers, what you know, your block is going to look like, what you just don't. Your voting is that weapon that we can use to bring about change. And that is basically the underline, is that vote is so important. Yes.
Dietric, you're shaking your head a lot. Talk about that weapon that brings about change. That's important to bring about change.
Absolutely. I certainly agree. Elected official represents the people, right? Represents and listens to the people's needs, right? In terms of the betterment of the community and even right their day-to-day lives. So for us to have an understanding, right, of the functions, right, of elected official, because there are just so many, right, positions. You have the assemblywoman or assemblyman, you have the council member, councilman, you have the mayor, right, district leader. It's very important that the youth, we understand, right, the functions of each elected official, and therefore we would truly understand the significance, right, of our vote and what we're voting for, and of course, you know, who we're voting for as well.
Do young people understand the connection between their vote and the things that matter to them? Okay, you can both take turns answering that.
I yield the mic.
I don't think our young people see the connection, because they don't see that in their lives. They don't, it's not in school, it's not at home, it's not in their, you know, social media. So it's a disconnect. They see politics as something that they cannot trust, because you hear, you know, politicians are doing bad things. You hear, oh yes, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But once they get into office, they sing a different tune. So we have to really present something to our youths, something tangible that they feel that they're a part of when they go out to vote. Too many times, even myself, when I, you know, used to do voting registration, we have our youth saying the same thing. Is this another person that's going to fail us? Is this another person that's going to fail us? They have no idea of what a ballot is. What's a ballot? What is the steps? What are the steps to be? What are the entry level of the to be to go? I would say to go into politics. What is the first thing I should know? What is the lowest and what is the highest? Where does my vote really count? Does it count the president? Does it count in the lower? Oh, some people say it only counts in the lower level of government, not in the upper level. And there's a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of confusion where our young children are. So in my opinion, no, they do not see that. It sees what I want and what politicians want and what voting is. That's adults and we are the children. So it's not a connection. That's why, in my opinion, I don't feel the children have that.
Okay, Dietric, you now.
Yes, so I certainly agree. Unfortunately, there is a gap of understanding, particularly the importance of voting for local officials, because I remember when I was a child back at elementary school, where President Barack Obama, right, was elected as president. I thought that based on voting, right, the president is the most important politician to vote for, or the most important campaign to vote for. While that is important, right, the presidency campaign, the local elected officials campaign is just as important because, you know, they influence laws, right? They advocate for the budget, right? The multi-billion-dollar budget that New York City has to delegate across the boroughs, right? So there is a gap in knowledge and understanding, particularly the importance of local officials. And again, not understanding, right, the functions of the senator, of the council person, or the assemblyman or assemblywoman, right? So if we can get a rudimentary understanding of local elected officials, therefore there would be the first step of closing that gap, particularly that knowledge gap.
18-year-olds, they are in their last year of high school, they are in their first year of college, and up to your age, and up to the age of Cheryl's kids, they're in college, and they're even in the workplace. Now, do they really understand how voting affects issues such as interracial marriage, issues such as voting rights, issues such as the impact on getting a job, the impact on getting a house? How do we let our young people understand that there is that connection between voting and these other realities of living?
Well, firstly, I think over the course of 20 years or so, the attitudes of like how we navigate as a society, we became more of a individualistic society where we're largely concerned of the affairs of our personal lives and our circle, not the community. So we start to see a shift, particularly in young people, my generation, right? And the generation that comes after, that we're solely focused on our affairs, right? We're likely at the age of 18 or college to go out of state, right? And we just pursue our dreams as opposed to looking back or looking towards our community to see how we can collaborate as a whole. So I just largely think that there has been a vast shift, right, of attitudes, particularly this individualistic attitude. And I think that there is power in community, and that should be taught, right, at a very young age, and to see how, you know, we can as a collective work together, pool in our resources, right, and to say, okay, this is the epitome, or this is a example of what a local official could do for you once you come together and you understand the importance of community.
Yes, Cheryl, I'm coming to you. Dietric talked about they should be taught. You also referred to the importance of being taught. Are you in the school system, by the way?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, tell us about what you do in the school system.
I'm a substitute teacher. I teach from 3K to 5th grade. I go to various schools, but for the last 4 years, I've been teaching at one school, and that is PS 179 as downtown Brooklyn. And sir, I mean, if I can just be frank, we don't know. Not just our children, the parents don't know. So if we have parents that don't know, the children are not going to know. You know, we have, I find that we speak to the children and not to the adults. Parents are not being educated as far as the voting and the importance of voting and the various aspects of their lives that voting affects. The host mentioned race issues, you know, interracial marriage. It affects all aspects of our lives. Parents do not have that information. And especially when we have people that coming into the country, you know, people that migrate into the country, they don't know. So where do we start? Like, where do we start to reach out to the immigrants and parents that don't know? So I find that if we need to start educating parents, and then that bridge will go down. The pullback came when my son, I at first I didn't know anything about voting. I'm not from this country. So I had to get myself educated in a short period of time. And then once I did, then I was able to speak to my children and give them a better understanding and what happened to bring us to this point as for why are we even having this conversation about people of color and why aren't we voting? Because we don't know the history and we are not getting anything out of whoever is in office. You know, Obama was in office. I suffered, you know, so children, I find in order for children to rally up in voting, what are we offering them? We offer adults, but what are we offering our youths to get them to come out? And that's what I find is hard. And our children, our youths want to come out, but why are they, for what? What are we giving them?
Yes. Dietric, you're with an organization called Gentleman's Factory. What is your organization doing to encourage young people to vote, that young people understand the issues that will benefit them, knowledge of these issues that will benefit them if they vote?
Fantastic question. So the Gentleman's Factory is a community of Black professionals from various industries and fields. You have your doctors, lawyers, those who are in local government, right? Those who are creatives, etc. We all come together and build. And in the past, we have reached out to schools, right, to show that there are examples of Black men, you know, from various industries and fields such as real estate, the medical field, etc. The importance of building together and collaborating together in the realms of politics and as well as civic engagement. That is something that we are planning in the foreseeable future. But in terms of, you know, our community, the Gentleman's Factory, we wanted to show the example, right? The importance of collaboration and community building, right? This is community building. So once they, you know, the young people understand the importance of building community, they will truly see the significance of the power of local officials developing and building community as well.
Okay, we've got 30 seconds and Cheryl, I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds. That's all you've got.
And all I education. Without education, our children don't know where to go. So I educate our children. That's
and
my
Dietric, you agree because you are in many organizations and you are at the forefront of educating kids as well. And I hope that the elected officials who you continue to work with, that there will be this connection between them and the young people who they want to vote, and let the young people know that voting is important. Right, Dietric?
Absolutely, I agree.
Okay, I want to thank you, Cheryl Ford and Dietric Wing-Paul. Thank you for being on Brooklyn 45. And I hope parents, you've been listening. I hope young people, you've been listening. And we have important elections coming up this year. So please get out and vote. And now over to our Young Academic Achievers host, Camella Fairweather.
Greetings. Welcome to Brooklyn 45's Young Academic Achievers segment. I am Camella Fairweather, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Ella Rose-Berhe-Lumax. And Ella attends International School of Brooklyn. Ella, welcome to Brooklyn 45. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Excellent. You have been selected to be a part of Brooklyn 45 today because of your academic achievements and because of some of the things that you do in the community and socially. So please start off by telling us, how do you get such great grades?
Well, okay, so my community, my school, like, the teachers that I have this year are really great and like they help me a lot. And then also with my friends, like I study with them. And I don't know, just an overall great community that like helps me. Yeah.
So you support each other in your learning and your growing and all of that great stuff?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what inspires you? What makes you want to have good grades? What makes you want to interact with your peers and your teachers to really do well? What drives you?
What drives me is like I want to be in like a place, like I want in the future I want to be successful enough to like just be able to relax and not always have to like worry about certain like different like money and whatever, so I can just like relax. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the things that you do in the community. I know that you are like a very creative person and you do a lot of things on the creative side. So tell me a little bit about the things you do socially.
So my mom, she's the founder of like a community or nonprofit organization, One Love Community. So I help her with that on like a daily basis. Yeah. So she has like community fridges, which we fill, we pick up donations and then we fill them.
Mhm. And what is the population of people that you serve?
It's like all different people. There's just like a bunch of like fridges in different communities. There's like, yeah. And so whoever can come and pick up. Yeah.
Whatever they need?
Yeah. Well, it's food. Yeah, it's like fresh produce, a bunch of different food. Yeah.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about what you do for your own creative side. What are the things that really interest you in what you produce, like fashion or tell me some of the things that you do on your creative side that really help to balance you from the academic part.
Well, I like to make like a lot of jewelry. Like on my wrist, I have like the rainbow looms and like beads and stuff that I do in like free time when I'm bored, because I don't know, it's fun, and then also like I can show it off. Yeah.
Tell me, if you wanted to like encourage young people who are not sure about themselves and didn't have a lot of confidence, what would you say to them to
Okay.
encourage them and inspire them to be better?
So I would say find your people and like people that you can support and that support you. And also like when you're working, try to pace yourself. Don't stress out too much, because like when you stress, it will interfere with your work and it won't really go well. So you just have to try to focus and stay calm with everything that you do.
Okay, so then my question to you is, what are some of the useful things that your parents have taught you that have made you the person that you are?
So they've taught me like a lot of stuff. I would say to try to always lead, and when like things don't go your way, still try to work with it, because like when I see my parents work, I always see like what they go through and like challenge that they have, and then I always see them like try to work through it and like look on the bright side and like work through it. I don't know. Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful contribution. And so you're always going to look at the positives and look at the ways to solve the problems. We need that for young people in the world. Thank you for that. Ella, I really enjoyed speaking with you today, and I'm really excited about what your future is going to look like. I hope you go out and just make a big difference in the world, even while you're relaxing, that you're also working hard and showing other people how to have fun and serve the world at the same time. I really, really enjoyed speaking with you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Back to you, Sam.
Thank you, Camella Fairweather. And to our viewers, we thank you for watching this program. Please tell everyone you know about Brooklyn 45, about this program. On behalf of our Brooklyn 45 team, I am Sam Taitt.
Brooklyn 45 is a 501c3 not-for-profit, and we welcome your support. Check out our website, brooklyn45.com, and feel free to donate or share it with your friends and family. Have any comments or questions? Send them to our Facebook, facebook.com/Brooklyn45TV. If you have any questions or topics you think we should cover next, shoot me an email over at brooklyn45tv@gmail.com. Thank you again for watching.